Morning. How you guys doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Lydia, I am Lydia O'Boy. I am your local lactation specialist based here in Los Angeles, and I provide breastfeeding and lactation support to expectant and breastfeeding families. I journey with families as they're returning back to work and school, and I support families as they're ending their breastfeeding relationship, whether it's weaning or in the event of a loss. So, you can find me all over social media at Lydia O'Boy CLE. You can email me at lydia@lydiaoboy.com. You can find my website at bit.ly/Lydia's resources. There you will find my list of offerings and pricing, some more information about me, my recommended book listing, some resources, my blog, and some good stuff. All right, so how are you guys doing today? Good. Any questions about breastfeeding? How did breastfeeding go for you last night? You can find me right now. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it here on Instagram, but right now you can find me Monday through Friday starting between 6:30 and 7 o'clock here on Instagram Live. I keep saying I'm going to move these over to Facebook and other platforms. I just haven't sat down and done it because some of it requires some editing, and bless my soul for my other life in natural hair. Editing videos. Lord. So that's what I need to do to get them over to the other platforms. I realize that I do need to add these to YouTube as well. So yeah, I need to do that. So right now I'm considering it, maybe revamping these, just because the connection is always wonky for me, and it's just easy. But the problem is it's incredibly easy for me to do these on my way to work versus getting a setup, sitting down, taking time out to do this. It just doesn't work. One, because you got to find some space, you got to find the time, and when you get home, sitting in front of a camera, because by the time I get home, I don't look this put together. I'll be looking busted. Face all greasy. Probably smell like milk. Tired. This hanging off. The baby's done pulled on me. So, yeah. So it's just easier. You get me fresh. Out the shower. Clean, freshly brushed teeth. So, but the problem is the connection won't let me be great in the mornings. So that's one of the reasons why I have a hard time getting through to put them on other platforms. Good morning, is because then either the signal will drop and then I got half a video, or I don't have a video at all. And then for a while I had cleaned off my phone, so all of the previous videos were sitting on my phone and I had to move them to Dropbox. So now I can't do it. I have to do it from either my computer's at home, or I have to do it from my actual phone, which I was doing it from my phone, but it's just a matter of sitting down doing it. So that is the reason why, if you follow me on other platforms and you don't see the videos, why they're not there. But I do need to sit down and do it. And while I was on vacation, every day I would wake up and be like, I'm going to put at least 3 videos up. I'm going to schedule them. I was truly on vacation mode. I did very little productivity, anything productive. So I was like, I did some stuff productive, but not those whole 2-3 weeks. It was just not happening. So yeah. So anyways, what am I talking about today? Yesterday, I gave you guys a very detailed overview of the different levels of lactation support. So hopefully you have a better understanding of how that would benefit you. Okay. So maybe today, because I'm still trying to figure it out, we can go over how those for your individual needs. Okay, so we talked about, yesterday we talked about the different levels and what they do. Okay, so if you are someone who qualifies for WIC, right? If maybe you have a latching lead that you're comfortable with in your area, so you're going to be on that peer level right there. Okay, and again, what I said yesterday is, even if you go into a WIC, the person whose job title is quote unquote peer breastfeeding counselor, they probably hold other certifications. Some are CLEs and some are as high as IBCLCs, but because of their job title, they are working in peer counselor, right? And even if they hold the IBCLC, in reality, they're only supposed to be working within the peer realm. And so the peer realm is conversation, that kind of support. Now, I will tell you, most people, well, no, I'm not even going to say that. A lot of people that I know, that I work with, they're in that peer role, they work far beyond that scope of work, okay? Is it a bad thing? I guess, liability-wise, it could be, but the folks that I work with, I would trust any one of my moms with. And when I say work with, those that I network with, there's very few people that I can say that I would not trust my moms with. At that's their job description says that, okay? And like I said, I work with some who are specifically peer counselors. They hold no other certifications. Some are CLEs and several are IBCLCs. So, and I would trust them with my moms. So when you talk about working outside of your scope, definitely, if you go into a WIC office, 9 times out of 10, you will be working with someone who is very well trained and very knowledgeable, okay? That's especially if they've been there for a while, all right? If they're new, maybe not. You really are working with peer support. But if you get to a WIC office and you work with somebody who's been in that position for 10 plus years, yeah, they have been thoroughly trained. They have been vetted. They have a lot of moms and a lot of babies underneath their belt. So how do you work with this person? Okay, you're going to go in, you'll probably get a referral. They will contact you, or you'll have an introduction with this person. You'll sit down and you'll have a brief chat, and they will get some information from you and talk about your breastfeeding goals. And then what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, or they're going to put you on a plan for telephone support. Okay, so pretty much this person is going to call you, depending on the office and what's available to them in that office. You will have text messages. They'll have you come in. When you're in the office, you'll be able to talk to them, and they do breastfeeding support groups. Okay, so that's the type of support. With that, and this is one of my biggest issues when we look at this type of support, and then we get into private practice for higher social economic levels. That support is, and sometimes people are kind of like, I don't have time for this. But understand what you're getting. During the prenatal period, you are to be contacted, depending on when the contact is made, monthly, and they're going to give you some breastfeeding information. You get to ask your questions. You're invited into the support groups, right? So you get this information. Sometimes, if text messaging is available to them, they will text you some information, right? It's good because you can always go back and refer. So now you're not having to go out and trust that what you found is correct. Okay. Again, person is highly vetted. A lot of times they have a script that they have to go by, certain calls, certain points that they have to hit at a certain time. If you are working in that realm. Now, say you come out of that realm, you don't qualify for WIC, and you're working with a certified lactation educator. Remember what I said yesterday. the bulk of them usually work within, the premise is that they're working in a hospital to do the breastfeeding class. You sign up for the class, you take the class, you and your partner go in, and you get this one time. Very few hospitals do a series of classes, right? Sometimes you might be able to find someone who does a series of classes, and it may anywhere be from 3 to 5 classes in a series, right? They're going to go over very basic breastfeeding information, what to expect, the latch, maybe some policy information, what to do when you get home, that kind of stuff, right? Very basic information. That's what you get. And then you're stopped, right? And I'm sorry, let me go back to the pure breastfeeding, especially through WIC. You get that, and that's going to take you through your pregnancy. Once you deliver, the closer you get to your pregnancy, then those calls, those contacts are made more frequently. So then they go monthly, every 2 weeks to weekly, and they should mirror your doctor's appointment so that you will be prepared. So if there's anything that you question, whether from the doctor, the information you get from the doctor, or that you get from your counselor, then you can go back, right? And so this is kind of, the premise is that it's going to fill in any holes so that you can be not fully knowledgeable by the time you deliver, but that you're familiar with what's going to happen. So what happens is not catching you completely off guard. 9 times out of 10, moms miss stuff, they don't see it, phones get turned off, you know, there's a disconnect. So, but that's what the hope is, okay? Then once you deliver, then that same series of calls, they reverse and it goes back. So when you first have the baby, they're calling you either daily or weekly, then every 2 weeks, and then monthly until they cut you off. And not cut you off, but you kind of graduated from the program. And so depending on your counselor, it's either 6 months you start giving formula, or a year, depending on your counselor and the agency that they're working with, okay? And that's how that works. And so during that time postpartum, they'll get you through the first couple of weeks, and then if you're going back to work and you're starting birth control, they'll put you on a plan for that. They'll help you with your pumping schedule. They'll get you through that. They'll get you, once you get back to work, your pumping schedule, because like I said, it's very normal for mom to see a decrease, so they're going to work you through that little hurdle and get you back. And then if you stay with them long enough, maybe to the first year, and you're like, I'm ready to wean, you're weaning at the first year, then they will help you with weaning, okay? So there's, you know, that full connection. You see how that's kind of good, right? That's good. And then people who like, well, I wasn't with, I didn't get that, right? I think that's foul. Everybody should get that. But again, because you can afford it, it's going to be a cost, okay? With WIC, you can't afford it, they give it to you for free. And that's why I always encourage people to take advantage of WIC. If you're working, you're paying into WIC anyway. So take advantage to what you're paying into. Now, in addition to that, that's with your peer counselor, right? Always remember that depending on the agency that you're with, that agency may have an IBCLC that's available to you. And there's a big, huge chance that your peer counselor is an IBCLC. So you have that level of support right there. Now, mind you, when you get out and you got to start paying for stuff on your own, the average LC contact, lactation consultant contact, is about $200 an hour. So do you want to pay for this if you qualify for WIC? And that's one of the reasons why with this shutdown, I am really pushing people. If you are on furlough, have your happy hips on over to WIC. Yes, we will assess you monthly, but look, they were down for what, 56 days, something like that. Was it 56 or 36? I don't know. But that was enough time for you to have gotten a whole bunch of contact that you may not have gotten on your own. So check with your WIC, and this is regardless if you're in California or not. And for those of you who are not having babies yourself, but you are the auntie, the sister, the co-worker, encourage people to do it. I know people, they think it's welfare, and it's not. It really isn't. Welfare is something completely different. It is on that spectrum, but welfare is here, WIC is kind of up here, okay? Income requirements are much higher. You get cut off quicker for other stuff, so it's not the same. So, okay, back to the hospital with the breastfeeding class. That you're gonna get that class. If you find a private CLE and they're doing classes, you may get a series, okay? They're not gonna take you through. They may not offer continual support. You may not be able to contact that person. If you tell them, I need support, I have my baby, I need some support, they're gonna say, okay, you're gonna have to contact the LC. Or they may direct you back to WIC, depending on what they know about you. And that's just how it's structured. Again, you may find somebody who's out there that does maybe the WIC model, but you got to find the person. And so that's like finding a needle in a haystack. So when you ask your doctor, they're going to really tell you, oh, just take the breastfeeding class at the hospital. I always encourage my folks to take the breastfeeding class at the hospital, mainly because you can find out from them what their policies are. So I give you a list of things to ask for. You know, how soon are you going to put the baby to the breast? Will you get a golden hour? What happens if you're separated from your baby? That kind of stuff. Will a pump be made available to you in the event that you medically cannot breastfeed? That kind of stuff, okay? So I always encourage my families to go to the hospital breastfeeding class so that you can find out this information. In those cases, for the more progressive hospitals, that they may have a CLE come to the bedside, again, in the scope, they're not supposed to do any touching, right? They can maybe over assess the latch and give you some hands-off instruction. And in the hospital, they pretty much are working within their scope. Very rarely will you see somebody work outside scope. So they're going to probably give you assessment, and then really they're going to write the referral for the IBCLC to come and see you, for the lactation consultant to come see you. Even though that person may be in IBCLC, if they're not working in that capacity, then that's what they'll do. But they'll have a higher level of input, okay? Now, IBCLC. When you get to that level, and when you're looking for support, you may find one, right? Lactation consultant, you may see IBCLC, or they just may say lactation consultant. You go online, you find this list. They may do support groups, they may do classes, they may, very rarely do you see IBCLCs that give you that level of support that you see with the WIC model. What the premise that they're founded on is that they'll come in when there's a problem. So if there's a problem, I'm having major issues, or you think you're a mom who doesn't qualify for WIC, but you're concerned about your milk supply, then you call this person and they'll come to your house, or you'll meet them somewhere, and that's what you get. Or they may have phone hours, and then they'll charge you for a phone call, and they'll have a conversation with you, give you some instructions, and then you may, depending on how their phone support is set up, you may have to buy a series of phone calls. They'll schedule another one for a follow-up, okay? So in the event that there is something major in the hospital, right? Say you're in the hospital, you just delivered, and the baby is not latching, and you're having extreme amount of pain. You'll get a referral for a lactation consultant. A lactation consultant will come around to bedside and see you. That person will then assess the latch. They may do some physical inspection of the baby and of mom's anatomy. So that may include sticking fingers in the mouth, swiping around the tongue, looking in the mouth to see what's going on, looking at the breast, assessing the breast for any abnormalities, and then making an assessment and giving you a plan, okay? If we are in the NICU, then depends on the full gamut. So if we're talking about maybe a preemie, a very early preemie, then the LC will come in and put you on a pumping plan, right? If the preemie has progressed to the point that Now we may be able to sustain a feeding at the breast. Then they will start working with you with latch. They're going to be trained to watch breathing. If at any time the breathing becomes labored, then we'll take the feeding, we'll stop the feeding and put the baby back on O2 support and go back and explain what happened, okay? So there's a lot more involved. They come in things like tongue ties, lip ties. They will work with the families. Like I said, NICU babies to work with breathing and the latch, okay, because that's really important. Cleft palates, cleft lips. Whether they're brought in for issues of the gut, okay. If we're fortifying, say the baby is in the NICU and the plan includes breast milk and a fortifier, so then the LC will be brought in to make sure that mom's milk supply is sustained for that, okay? On the outside, we have things like extreme engorgement. So say you find an LC and maybe the doctor is like, oh, well, I found something, you have a lump in your breast, and it's not so much cancerous, it could be a plug duct, it could be affected, mastitis, things like that. So there's a full gamut of things that your IBCLC will do for you. But in reality, what happens is for the average person who's like, I need lactation support, you're going to go out and you're going to find an LC. You're not going to see the difference in the levels, okay? And you're just going to say, okay, I need somebody to help me with breastfeeding. Or you're going to go to your doctor, and your doctor is going to tell you this, that, and the other. And that's where it just gets kind of convoluted. So how will that work for you? Okay? Like I said, if you can qualify for WIC, you're going to do that. I want you to go take your support group, your breastfeeding class at the hospital. Definitely do that. If you are somebody, you know, who doesn't qualify for that, and you want some type of support, I want you to find somebody who will give you some type of support during the prenatal period so that you get information. And a lot of times people say, oh, we'll just get a book. You know, you can go to a Mommy and Me class. You can find, you know, different kind of classes. Make sure that with those classes that they are professionally trained, and that they are hardcore pro breastfeeding, okay? Not so much to the point that when I say hardcore, I mean that they have been professionally trained, okay? That's my point, that they're professionally trained. And any of those levels can provide you with competent, relevant breastfeeding support. All right. Again, if you are looking for maybe a support group in your area, I can help you try to find that. Actually, there is a list, and I keep saying, and I thought about it yesterday, that my good friend Nikki Killings put together. She's based here in Los Angeles, and she's putting together a nationwide list. And I think what I'm going to do is help her out and get the link shortened for her and get that out so we can start promoting that list to everybody, because right now it's floating around the lactation community, especially Black lactation, for us to put our names on the list, but we need to get families to get that list. So please hold my feet to the fire with that so I can remember to do that today. If you have any questions about that, I know between yesterday and today, there was kind of a lot of information, and it probably has your head swimming, because it would have mine swimming. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to hit me up. Comment below, hit me in the instant message, email me, lydia@lydiaoboyd.com. You can instant message me on any of my social media at Lydia O'Boyd CLE, and just say, hey, I saw your IG live about the different, you know, certifications. Can you explain such to me? Not a problem, even if it doesn't pertain to that post. All right, not a problem. You're always welcome to do that. And so I am going to try first thing in the morning to get that done as far as Nikki Killing's listing, so you guys can have that list of support groups. All right. Another place for you guys to look is your local breastfeeding task force. Here in Los Angeles, we have Breastfeed LA. I took advantage. They do have a free listing, and I just added my information there, so go check me out. You go to Breastfeed LA, I believe it's .org, and they have a resource list, and I am listed there. So yes, so pray for me that I give an overabundance of income and that I can pay when this free period goes away. Okay, because I got a lot of stuff coming up. School has started. I got books to buy. Registration is due. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm preparing for to sit for these exams, so I got to come up with the money for that too. So pray. I appreciate you. All right. Again, hit me up if you guys are having any issues with breastfeeding. All right. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about in the mornings, let me know. All right. You guys have an awesome, amazing day. I will talk to you tomorrow. All right. Hasta.